Hi, my name is Dr. Amee Daxini. I'm a dermatologist practicing in my clinic called Think Skin Clinic in Bangalore. So, scalp type understanding is very important. We all have been talking about skin types for the last few years, but we forget that scalp skin is just an extension of our facial skin. And understanding the scalp skin will help us understand what kind of products we need to use and how should we maintain our hair. Again, there are multiple types of scalp types, but the commonest ones that we'll cover is the dry variety, the oily variety, and the normal or balanced variety. Now, the drier variety, how do you gauge you have it? It's very easy. If you start noticing a lot of white dust or powder that comes when you tap your hair onto your shoulders, you know that you have the dry or the flaky variety of scalp. This scalp generally notices a lot more itching, and the hair also tends to become dry, so there is a lot more breakage and therefore hair loss. In this hair type, the pH of the scalp skin is much higher. And in higher pHs, we notice that you do not have the acidic barrier which normally is present with low pH. Now, acid is important to destroy the bacteria. So, drier skin types generally tend to see more infection, sometimes even boils and itching on the scalp. Now, what is oily scalp? Oily scalp is very simple. If you notice when you wake up in the morning, the hair is more clumped. And as the day progresses, even if you washed your hair, the hair starts feeling more oily with loss of volume. That's when you know you have an oily scalp. Now, because of excess production of sebum, the oily scalp hair generally gets coated with oil, and this grease or oil can then attract the impurities as well as dust from outside and tend to clump further. The other thing that happens with excess sebum production is the growth of a fungus called malessezia. Now, this fungus is known to cause dandruff in combination with other things. So, you start noticing dandruff in the form of thick flakes. This is seen in oily scalp. And the last or the balanced scalp type is where the scalp has the right pH and the right amount of oil secretion or sebum secretion. Thereby, you see healthy, nourished hair as well as less breakage and hair loss. Now, once you've recognized your scalp type, you need to take care of it. Scalp types are generally more genetic, so you're going to face that lifelong. But there are certain environmental factors also which change the scalp type, and one of them is the kind of water that you use for hair wash. In some areas, the water is very hard, it's full of heavy metals, and these heavy metals then settle on the scalp after hair wash, tend to irritate the skin, causing more dryness and peeling of the skin. Many times, it also promotes more oil secretion, causing excess of sebum production and making your scalp oily. It also predisposes to more fungus, thereby causing more fungal kind of dandruff and hair loss. The other thing that is dependent is the shampoo type. Many times, if you do not recognize your scalp type, you might use a shampoo that doesn't suit you. For example, an oily scalp uses a very thick conditioning shampoo. It might further cause increase in oiliness and make your hair look less or more slumped without any volume. So that's when you need to pick the right shampoo type. If you look at dry hair, we prefer shampoos which are more conditioning and using a conditioner too. I recommend in dry scalps to condition or nourish the scalp night before you're planning to wash your hair. You can use a simple oil or aloe vera gel if you don't like an oil to nourish the scalp, hydrate and moisturize it before you wash it the next day. For oily scalp types, it's better to use shampoos which are more clarifying, shampoos which are translucent or transparent. They remove the grease better and do not lead to clumping of the hair. Conditioning can be used if your hair feels drier. Anti-dandruff shampoo usage is again very essential if you are noticing oily dandruff to keep the fungus under control. Preferably wash every alternate day if the dandruff is too much, or at least once a week to keep the dandruff at bay. And if you have a normal scalp or a balanced scalp type, use regular, simple, mild shampoos. In case you notice dandruff, use anti-dandruff shampoos once a week Do not forget to nourish your scalp, either in the form of oil or aloe vera gel, to keep it more hydrated and prevent dryness or scaling of the scalp.